Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, fantastic morning. Just making sure that I'm working over here. Let's see. Should get some notifications coming up. Alrighty. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining me today. Alright. Alright, so let me know if you can hear me okay. As you come in, just hit that comment section. Let me know where you're listening from and if the audio is working okay today. Sometimes I can't tell, so it really helps me out when you help me out. All right, today we're going to keep it pretty light, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm going to have you in and out pretty quickly, and we're going to talk about free real estate lead generation strategies. So as you come in and we go through the strategies, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. If I need to elaborate, now is going to be the fantastic time in order to do that. So we're talking about free real estate leads in this year. So this is something that's working today. This is something that will help your business grow. Sometimes we have more time than budget. That's completely okay. Everyone has a different phase in their life. Everyone has a different stage in their career, and that may be you. Or maybe you do have the budget, but you still want to invest a little bit more time and also work with ways to generate real estate leads for free. There's nothing wrong with that either. So that's why we're covering those today. All right, so just making sure we're okay over here as well. I think we are. All right, so we're talking about free real estate leads, how to get clients for free and fast. That is the primary focus of our time together, but then I'm also going to introduce some slower plays, so some strategies that you can deploy today that may not get you leads tomorrow, but will get you leads a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, again, from the fruits that you do today. So getting right into it, what we're going to cover and what we're going to start is on Facebook. That is the absolute place that most of you are getting real estate leads from today. So that's really what we're going to double down on because the traffic is there. There's a ton of people on Facebook still. The second, you have your ideal customers on there. So there's a lot of clients that want to work with you. So you want to make that opportunity available to them so they can work with you as quickly as possible. And then when it comes to Facebook, there's just so many different ways that you can, there's so many different avenues that you can go, and I'm going to give you the ways to do that right now. All right, so first is through organic posting. Organic posting can happen anywhere. So just understand that as I give you the strategies, specific strategies that come with organic posting, understand that you can do that on your Facebook page, so your own newsfeed, but you can also do this in other groups. So you can do this in Facebook groups. You can do this in multiple places that you don't necessarily even control. This could be your Facebook page if you happen to have business page. This could be your Facebook business page if you happen to have enough of an audience there. Now, there's pros and cons to all of these, so we're not going to go into those. But what I'm going to give you is just the organic posting that is working right now. Now, most of the time we talk about buyer leads, and that's something that is awesome, right? However, at the end of the day, in this particular market, what we need are sellers. We need some inventory. Prices are going sky high because the lack thereof sellers. So there's not as many sellers out there. So one post that you absolutely want to make in your Facebook profile today, again, whether you do it on your profile, whether you do it on a group, whether you do it on a Facebook business page, the strategy is the same. So just make sure that you're sticking with me. So the very first post that you want to make on your newsfeed today, and I challenge you to go and do that as soon as you get through, hitting like on this video and commenting on it as well, and sharing it with whoever needs to hear it, is what year did you buy your first home in? So I'll repeat that again because I don't have visuals for us today, but what year did you buy your first home in? So you make that post on your personal page. So I'll repeat that. So you're making that post on your personal page. And you may be thinking, well, Jaime, why do I want to do that? Well, here's what's happening. When somebody comments on that post, they're telling you something. They're telling you that they're homeowners. They're telling you that they have experience purchasing. Some of them, the way that you're asking, what year did you buy your first home in? You're not asking if they're homeowners. That would be too obvious, if you will. You're asking what year they bought their first home. So chances are when you buy your home, It's very rare that you sell and then go back to renting. It's very rare. Does it happen? Yes, of course. Have different life decisions, but it's very uncommon for people to, once they buy their first home and then go and rent again. So unless, forbearance and foreclosure and all that fun stuff, there's different conversation. But what you're trying to do is get from your sphere of influence who's actually a homeowner. You're trying to understand who is actually somebody that you want to connect with in a meaningful way to have a deeper conversation when it comes to buying or selling. So is this making sense? Let me know if it's making sense, because again, this is something that we really want to drive. We really want to drive this point home because it's very valuable. So again, what year did you buy your first home in? Once you make that post on your personal page, you're going to find people that work with or used to work with you. If you're a full-time realtor, people that used to work with you, your high school friends, your college friends, everyone's going to comment. It's going to be almost like going back through a memory hole, or just going back through, hey, I knew this person back in college, I knew this person in high school, and then you're picking up where the relationship ended off. So whenever they comment, you're going to acknowledge it with a like or with a heart, and then you're going to reply just acknowledging the comment. So either thank you or hey, awesome, great to, thanks for commenting, whatever you want to say. It really is not that important. You just need to acknowledge that they made the comment. The real work, the real heavy lifting happens in the DMs. So whenever somebody comments that they bought their first home in the year 2000, as an example, you're going to click through, you're going to acknowledge it with the heart or a like, whatever you do. You're going to reply to that comment, thank you, or 2000 was a great year. Then what you're going to do then is you're going to click through that profile and send them a DM. You're going to go into their DMs and start with let me rephrase that. Start with the friendship or relationship ended off. So what that means if a college friend of mine commented, I bought my house in the year 2000. Well, what you're going to do then is you're going to click through, you're going to send them a DM, and start where that relationship ended off. If the last time that I saw my college friend was at graduation or at a party or at a whatever it happens to be, that's where I'm picking up the relationship from. So I'm referencing where, the relationship or the friendship ended. I'm starting from there and bringing it into real time. I'm not going to immediately start talking about real estate. I want to start where we left off. Have some back and forth exchange. This is going to be a dialogue. This is not going to be a strategy where I made this post and I have 50 people that want to sell. No, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. So I just want to be clear with you. There is some heavy lifting that needs to be done, and that heavy lifting happens to be in the DMs. So once you start from where that relationship ended off, and you go through your history and their history, what they've been doing for the last 20 years, then you get into what you're doing now. So then you're asking about them, asking what they're doing, and of course, they're going to reciprocate, what are you doing? And that's when you can start having meaningful conversations. Now, the conversations are going to go very differently. So I can't necessarily give you the script on if they say this, then you say this. And then if they say this, then say this, because that's not reasonable. That's not going to happen. Everyone's going to be in a different position, and it wouldn't be useful. I could give you the blueprint for your college friends and bringing them back to real life or to present day. That's just not feasible. That's not practical. That's not going to happen. So just understand those limitations. So while I can give you the starting point, I can give you the fuse and the match. You got to do the rest. So the rest of it is just is going to be upon you. Once you bring them into the real time, the thing that I do want to emphasize is you want to get their contact information for one, and then also get an appointment too. Now, both of those are a little bit different. Contact information, you just want their updated information. Chances are the phone that they had in college probably doesn't work today. It's rare that it does, especially with all the spam and everything going on. So you want to get their contact information before you do what I call the dismount. So whenever you dismount from the conversation, because you're not going to go back and forth with this, or let me phrase that. I'm not going to go back and forth with this college buddy forever and ever and ever. There's a reason that we stopped talking. But anyway, so when you engage these conversations, there has to be an endpoint. You're not going to continue going back and forth every single day. You don't need a pen pal, and they don't need a pen pal, or else they would have already reached out to you, and you would have reached out to them already. So you're going to be purposeful with your time, especially on social media, because as we know, it's addicting, and we can easily have all the best intentions in the world and then get distracted and have 6 hours on the platform without doing anything. So whenever you have that back and forth, before it ends, make sure that you get the updated contact information, so their phone number, their email, and their address, because remember, they have a home at this point because they told you. They straight up told you. So if you get those three contact points, you're going to have a very healthy SOI, or a very healthy database that you can call upon. So is this making sense? Let me know in the comments section down below if this is landing. I can certainly expand upon it, but just want to make sure that there's some feedback. And as you're coming in, a like goes a long way. It helps send out the notifications to the rest of the folks that we're live. So remember, we're here Mondays and Fridays live at 9 a.m. Central. I'm considering adding another day, so I'm not sure what day that'll be. If you have a preference on another day so we can have this exchange, this interaction, then let me know. All right, so once you get that contact information, again, the phone, the email, and the address. Now, the stickiest one, the most complicated one's going to be the address. I get this pushback all the time. Well, Jaime, I'm not going to ask them for their address. They know I'm a realtor. They're gonna know what's up. Well, for one, there's nothing up, right? So let's just get out of our heads there. But then also understand that when you're getting that address, you're not suggesting, unless they absolutely ask for it, let me send you a CMA. Well, that's not what I'm suggesting that you do. I'm asking that you get their address. So once you've gone back and forth, remember, this is why we primed the pump. This is why we had that conversation. We started from where they were at. So from my college days, bringing them up to what we're doing now. So we had that exchange. So it'd be completely out of hand if they didn't respond to you after you asked for their contact information. So the request can be something very simple. Hey, just so I have an updated profile for you, or an updated contact for you, what's the best email, phone number, and address? I'd like to send you something. And leave it at that. I'd like to send you something. And you can send them whatever you want. You can send them a thank you card. You can send them a birthday card, or if you happen to know their birthday, that's something else that you can ask for. Now, this is something that's a fourth thing that you can ask for, but I don't typically push for it because that's more me projecting, because I don't really care for my birthday. So if you're a birthday person, then yeah, ask for that birth date. That way you're gonna have 4 pieces of information. That's cool. But at the end of the day, at least 3. If you want to go for that birthday, great. And I may change my mind in the future. Who knows? But right now, I don't care. So it's the phone number, the email, and the address. So what you send them in the mail is totally up to you. You can send them a business card if you want. I don't suggest it, but you can. You can send them a thank you card, or you can send them a nice catching up card, a letter if you want. Whatever it happens to be, it's your call. Now, something that I did hear on I thought was brilliant, from an agent in Florida that has a massive team, that what he does is he sends out a lottery ticket. So he sends out a lottery ticket, a $1 scratch off, just as a follow-up with all of his contacts. Not with this strategy, but just in terms of his sphere of influence, his SOI. So he sends them a scratch off and says, if you win the jackpot, it'll be enough to cover an investment home, or something like that. I don't remember what he wrote in that card, but the key point is you can get creative with what you send them, such as a scratch off. So just throwing that out there. So is this making sense? Again, what we're doing right now is the Facebook organic posting. This post works fantastic if you do it on your personal profile. You can do it in a group that you manage as well. You can do this on a business page as well, assuming you have a large enough audience and more than one person is going to see it, then yes, it's worth posting it there as well. So this is a way to get people drawn to you. This is a way for, if you have a Facebook group or have access to a Facebook group, or if you need to pay to make a post, it's very well worth it as long as you're targeting your ideal customer. If your ideal customer is a person that has a home, then go where those people congregate. And that could be in a garage group. That could be in a mom's group. That could be in a faith group. That can be in an X, Y, and Z group. So simply because the rules state that you can't do certain posting doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you have to pay the founder, the creator, the person that started the group a little bit of money to make these posts. I don't want to get too much into, I want to scratch off. Great idea. Awesome. Yeah, no, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant when I first heard about that. It was a fantastic strategy that they deployed there. Simply, I don't want to get too much into the pricing of what you can pay for posts on Facebook groups because they range everywhere. But to just give you an idea, there are certain posts or several groups that I have access to that I pay $75. Is it 75? $75 for 6 weeks worth of posting. And this group is massive. This group has 60. One of them has 60,000. The other one has 5,000. The other one has like 10,000. But I have access to the network, so I pay $75 for six weeks of posting. And so there's some rules. Different admins have different rules. Some are going to charge you 100. Some of them are going to charge you $20 per post. Whatever it happens to be, you know the value. So if you know what to post, then that becomes even more valuable. So if you knew that if you could strike up these types of conversations with people that are homeowners, and you can get really dialed in on how to make this happen, you're talking about a lot of conversions. You're talking about a lot of listings. All right, so that's the first type of post. So again, what year did you buy your first home? That's one post. Now I want to talk about another type of post. If you got $20,000, let me rephrase that. If you got $20,000 more than market value for your home today, would you sell? So what this is basic. So this is the second type of post. If you got $20,000 more than the market value today, would you sell? So this is, again, what you're calling out here is a little bit more specific. You are calling out the homeowners clearly, but then you're also calling out a bit more of the intention. So here's where we get into the whole getting into that mindset of the people that say yes are going to say yes. The people that say no are going to say no. That's obvious. But even if the people that say no, they have value to you because they're not going to comment unless they just can't read. They're not going to comment if they don't have a home. So that's very powerful. So if you got $20,000 more for your home today, would you sell? Once you make that post on your page, the people that say no, well, what did they tell you as well? That they're most likely homeowners. It just means that they're not willing to sell, for at least for that price, if you will. But the people that say yes, that's a conversation. That's a conversation that is worth having. So that, again, you're going to acknowledge the comment with a like or a heart and then reply, fantastic, or whatever you want to reply. The heavy lifting happens in the DMs. So in the DMs, at that point, that's again when you start up the relationship again. And then you can be a little bit more direct with these types of engagements now, because you're not asking something so generic of when they bought their first home. Now you brought in some intention. You brought in some direction of where you wanted the conversation to go. So you put in a scenario that is happening today in most markets. It's happening today. $20,000 more, $50,000 more, $100,000 more. You're in the real estate market, so you understand how hot it is at this moment. Now again, it depends on areas. So make sure that you adjust this $20,000 to where it makes sense in your neighborhood or in the area that you work. This may be too much, this may be too little. So just make sure that you understand what's happening in your surrounding, in your environment, to make it worth a while. So just be aware of that. So if you were to receive $20,000 more in your home today, would you sell? So with those that say yes, once you get into the DM, some of them are gonna say, "Oh no, I was just commenting, great." And some of them are gonna be a little bit more intentional. But what you need to get into the habit of is asking more questions and keep the conversation going than immediately going for the kill. Hey, so do you want to sell? I can send you over a CMA and I can have a yard in your, I can have a sign in your yard tomorrow. We need to back up a little bit. We need to engage them into that conversation, have a dialogue of back and forth, and then their true motives are going to come out. Some of them are truly just playing along with your game and or your post, and they're going to just comment because they want to support you in commenting. Some people do have maybe they hadn't considered it, maybe hadn't considered selling, but they saw $20,000 more and are curious. Well, I thought my home was worth $300,000. So 320, if I got that today, I mean, that's thinking about it a little bit more, right? So you're going to have different types of conversations, but it's a different type of post that you can make. Now, again, you can play around with these posts. You can make them more, you can make them less. This is something that one, well, both of them particularly, you don't want to make them every single day. That's not going to happen. But you do want to make these types of posts once a quarter or twice a year. Enough time needs to elapse between those. So there's going to be some people that comment again. There's going to be some people that never comment. And it's just something that you can continue to cycle through. But these are two implementable strategies today that are working to get you some conversations with people that are already part of your sphere of influence. Excuse me. That can be, wow. One second. I'm nursing something, which is a cold, apparently. All right, so here we go. Is this making sense? So just let me know if this is making sense. Again, these are organic posts that are getting leads today. So they're effective. All right. So the other thing that you can do, I want to make sure that you get a third strategy, is doing a listing of the day series. So a listing of the day series can manifest itself in many different ways. The reason I wanted to include this strategy, there's many, many more, that the agents that I work with personally, whether I have them as clients or they join my EXP team, where I have an entire list of all of the posts that my agents have access to. So the ones that partner with me at EXP, because as you know, the tagline there is, if they join me, or if any real estate agent joins me, they get their lead generation done for free. So we do all the paid ads and everything else. So all they have to worry about is closing the deals, if you will. So closing the leads. But then we also have an arsenal. We have a plethora, a library of all of these free strategies. So I'm only getting 3 out for this particular video. So the rest of those are working with our team today. But when it comes to the listing of the day series, this is something that you can post every single day. This is something that will be a little bit more frequent than the previous 2 strategies that I gave you, which are more, as I mentioned, a quarterly type of a thing or twice a year type of a thing. So there's a lot of days in between those periods. So in between the quarters and in between bi-yearly. So you need more strategies on how to continue filling up the pipeline. So listing of the day series can be anything that you want. It could be a listing of a home that you think is beautiful and you just share it on your social media platforms. That's the listing of the day. You can make it a listing of the day series where you go through your MLS and find images that absolutely suck by agents that don't hire professional photographers. We know plenty of them, and we know plenty of them that take some awful pictures that have no, I'll give you a hot take. The ones that provide just awful pictures. I mean, if you know how to take pictures, and awesome, great. That's your background, great. But if you're an agent that's out there just taking pictures and have really awful, just terrible marketing, you shouldn't be in the business. I'll give you that hot take. You're getting 3% on the largest asset on the planet for clients. And if you're not going to invest $100, if that, on professional pictures, you're not a professional and you shouldn't be in the business. That's my hot take. We'll just put it that way. Anyway, I totally off the rails. Let me bring it back. Listing of the day series. So anyway, that second strategy, if you're doing the putting these, highlighting these images is a better way of saying it. Highlighting these images that are subpar, that absolutely suck, that are from people that should not be real estate professionals. If you're highlighting those pictures, of course, don't necessarily credit the the agent, but they're just, that's the listing of the day. But there, it's kind of like a parody. Like, hey, these are the images that are floating around by people that are paying $10,000, $20,000 to this agent, and this is the work that they do. So anyway, so you can make it a series like that. You can make it a series of a listing of the day based off of the most expensive one in the market, the most expensive home in the market. Now, you got to be careful on that, because chances are that there's not going to be a record breaker every single day, so that may be a little bit problematic, but it could be more of a weekly type of a series. And these are you sharing the listings on your social media profiles. You can do that by creating a single property website through, let's say, KB Core, or you can do that through Sync, or you can do that through a lot of different CRMs. Give you the ability to create single property websites with a click of a button. Or you could go straight to the MLS, send yourself a link, and then post it on social media. So that's another way of doing it. So again, this listing of the day series, get creative with it. Whatever theme you want it to look like. If you're in Florida, make it more about the pool of the day, because Florida loves, like Floridians love their pools, and rightly so. The weather is so conducive for it. So just play around with it. These are ways for you to leverage social media. These are ways for you to not have to buy a Starbucks drink to your entire sphere of influence, hoping and praying that they have a home, hoping and praying that they use you at the end of the day. Those days, if you want to entertain those, great. But those days are not necessary, especially today with the, I don't want to say the word that'll get this video demonetized, but given the situation that we're in right now when it comes to the lockdowns. But beyond that, this is a new way of doing business. So just want to offer these to you. If there's any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect with you in any way possible. If you have any questions about these strategies, if you have any questions about joining and partnering up with me at EXP, I'd love to go through some details with you. Everything's going to be linked down below, and I'll see you on Monday.